Alright guys, obviously you can see I got the thing started. I'm sorry I was going to give you a video of the slide, but I didn't have a chance to. Wanted to hurry up and get this thing together. So it's not running 100%, but it's still running, which is cool. So you can see it's about ready to die. Give it a little bit. Smells good. Bogs down a little bit. And the throttle spring back is not good. And the resistance that the pump is giving me is, it's like the pump is sticky. There might be some gummed up oil in there. For the most part, it's working. Just got to see if I have any air leaks anywhere or anything like that. You can see it kind of bogs down a little bit. I know it's cold right now, but that might be letting a little too much oil in there. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You know, the idle's a little high right now, but it goes up and down on its own, so it's kind of weird. Like I said, I got a little bit more adjusting to do on this carb, but look up in there. I don't know if you can see that, but I did cut those. I did cut them. Let me turn this off. So I did cut those elbows, and it seems like it's working out pretty good. I might tighten this up a little bit right here, and you can see this is kind of separating right there, so I might be getting a big chunk of air on the side here and not actually going through the filter, give it the resistance it needs. But for the most part, my son is jazzed. He can't wait to take this thing out to the desert, so, you know, basically I'm not too worried about it, even if the throttle gets kind of jammed open a little bit or whatever. The worst that's going to happen is, you know, he knows how to pull the brake already. So just pull the brake and then shut off the bike. If he panics, then the worst that's going to happen is this thing doesn't get up to high speed right now because of the carb issues. So he might be going about 25 miles an hour, if that, 20 miles an hour, and then he's going to crash into some sand. So it's not going to hurt. But I'm trying to make it as safe as possible. So for right now, that's what we got. It's a good start, and I think over time I will perfect it. But for right now, I think for next weekend we're ready to roll. And that's pretty much all I got for this bike. I mean, you know, like I said, if you're gonna buy this QA carb or any aftermarket carb, make sure you get the right dimensions and make sure your elbows allow for enough free length slack. Both of these cables, I tried them both out. It does kind of throttle up when I pull it. The handlebars that way, so I'm gonna probably try some different routing techniques in here. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go with it, but that looks like, you know, where it was before. So that's nothing much I can do there. You know, I have this kind of extended where I need it as far as the throttle. You want this kind of loose. You don't want it fully tight, because then it'll almost act like it's pulling the throttle as soon as you hit it. It's a little crunchy in there, and the seat doesn't spring back like I want it, so I don't know if it's part of the carb right now, or if it's the pump, or it could be internal in here too, so I might squirt a little bit of silicone in there. But other than that, yeah, and then as far as the slack for the pump back in there, the cable, I don't know what is good and what's not. I don't know when you want that to actually actuate. I've been doing some Google research, and it just looks like as long as it's dumping some oil, and the vacuum from the carb alone will pull in oil anyway, but when you open up your throttle, you want that to be dumping a little bit more, hence all the smoke. And I am getting a little drippies out of here, so that I think I'm pouring a little too much oil in there. It's either that or I'm not getting a full burn. That's probably why it's acting like this. So the spark plug might need to be changed. I do have 2 extra spark plugs for this, so I'll be changing the spark plug. I will be putting some fresh gasoline in there. This tank is full of oil. I'm not gonna worry about that. Oil doesn't really go bad, and I think that was filled last year. And I'm gonna check the crankcase. We should be ready for next weekend. And at least they'll give them a chance to putt around, you know, and have a good time around the camp and stuff like that. We're not going to do big long runs because this thing won't go very far unless you're on unless you're trail riding. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this bike. And so we're going to be taking out the razor here. As you can see, I'm getting the whips. I'm getting those whips done up. And what I'm doing is I'm going to hook up one of these switches like this. This switch is a really cool switch, and just lighted whip, that's what it says on it. 5-pin on the back, very simple. Read your instructions and how to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here. You can see I have my dash already pulled out, and I have a few more things to disconnect. And what I like to do is take this fully out so I can follow these lines right here, and with a knife. And then what I do is I kind of clean it up sometimes with my Dremel, but you be very careful with your Dremel because you can dig in real fast, and then you're screwed because you don't have much space in between these switches. So you want to cut right on that line. And actually the best way to do it is from the rear, and you can follow the indentation right there. If you try it from the front, you're more than likely to overlap in between, and then your SOL. And also what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using my accessory block right here, and I'm going to hook up the power straight from here to the switch, and I'm just going to use the power, the positive leg, to split it in between the two, and in between the switch, and then we're good to go. And then I'll clean up all this wiring under here, and if I get around to it, I will do those. Like I said, I have a lot of crap to do still. I'm always wait till the last second, but I have these little brackets like this, and these brackets will go just like this, and then allow me to put my pods on there, but I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I still have a lot to do to my trailer. I need to kind of clean up that bike, and then I have to really finish up the little bit of odds and ends on this razor. I'm not doing a chase light this year. I'm just going to leave this wire hanging. I might shorten it up just a little bit, and then in the cab I just need to do a few more things, clean stuff up. And one last thing is my dome light. I'm going to put it on a push button, a switch, just straight power. And if you're wondering if you really need to do a relay or not, these whips that I have combined only pull, I believe, not even 4 amps, or maybe it's 4.1, something like that. I checked their website, and for this particular length, which are the 4-footers, I think they're the 4-footers, anyway, something like that. Whatever I have, check them out, and always check your rating on what you're pulling, what your accessory's pulling. And on this switch at 12 volts, you can run 20 amps. So 20 amps, 12 volts, that's plenty enough rating on this. And in reality, when you're cruising in the dunes and stuff, you might go for a little ride and you're not going to be on that long. And they don't have a huge amp draw, they're LEDs. The biggest amp draw is going to be something like this. Huge amp draw, and that's why you're going to use a relay for that. But don't be afraid to just hook some of these things like this straight up to the switch. It's kind of like your when you go off your reverse lights and stuff like that. I know they're technically on a relay, but all in that same circuit, a lot of people tap into the reverse lights and they do that little adapter thing, and then they run their whips, and to me that would overload a circuit, but as long as you're staying within a certain amount of amperage, you're good to go. But that's all I got, guys. So anyway, I'm kind of stoked. Actually, I'm really stoked that I got this bike running. That's really awesome. And yeah, I can't wait for my son to hop on that. He's gonna do it today when they get home from soccer. I know I'm a bad dad, I didn't go to soccer day, but I really got to get stuff going here. So the wife said don't worry about it. But anyway, if you have any suggestions for this bike, what I should do, or what I missed, or whatever it is, you know, what I'm doing wrong and what am I doing right, all of the above, you're not going to hurt my feelings, because, well, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm going to take all the positive suggestions and stuff like that, but any negatives, just like any YouTube channel, the negatives get ignored because there's a lot of assholes out there. But so anyway, I know it's a hack job, guys, and it should be good from the get-go, but it wasn't. So you got to make do with what you have in a crunch. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this with that bike, and let me know if you just have anything for me for this, because it's really kind of tough to find a lot of good stuff online for these bikes, and it's more so like, hey, I redid it and it works now, but doesn't, a lot of videos don't get into like super detailed, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's more adjustments other than, I don't know what that screw does. This screw right here, I didn't read up on it. I was adjusting it yesterday, it didn't make any difference. Obviously the idle screw makes a difference, but I don't know what that does. You know, this is just letting in more fuel or less fuel. I don't know, a lean rich condition with that. I'm assuming that's your air fuel mixture screw right there. But then again, I could be wrong. So let me know what you guys think. That's all I got. Later.